Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be learning how to make this beautiful corset top. If this is what you're interested in, keep watching, like, share and comment and also subscribe. Thank you. So to get started, we're going to start by drafting our upper bodice. So I started by marking my shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus half inch. Then I marked my shoulder slant 1.5 inch and I put down my armhole measurement, which is 7 inches, and I'm just trying to make a straight line to get my length of my armhole, just to get the length of my armhole. So I'm going to use my ruler to connect the line like this, and then I'll form an L shape there. So I'll go ahead and mark my neck measurement. My neck width measurement is 3 and then my neck depth is 3. So I'll just go ahead and square up the lines. After this, I'm going to connect the shoulder measurement from the shoulder slant to the neck point. So I'll go ahead and mark 1 inch on my L shape and then mark 3 inches upwards and connect the lines like so with my curved ruler. Then I'm going to use a straight ruler to connect it to my shoulder point. I'll go ahead and mark my apex, my underbust and my half length measurements. I'm just remarking the line so that I can have a straight line, my apex, my underbust and my half length. Then I'm going to rule out the line like so. This tutorial is going to be very detailed, so I'm going to take it very slowly. So I went ahead to mark my waist to my hip measurement. Because of making a top, I prefer to do my waist to my hip measurement before I will take the length of the top. So that's my waist to my hip measurement. I'll then on the apex point mark my bust measurement divided by 4, and on my waistline I'll put my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for that, and on my hip line I'm going to mark my hip measurement divided by 4. So I'll go ahead and connect the lines like this. After that, I'm going to come to the waistline and mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2, and I'm going to mark it on my nipple line, my apex line, my underbust line and on my waistline because I want to have a straight line. So I'm just going to connect that line straight all the way to the hip line. So to mark my dart intake, I actually took 1 inch for that, but because I want to have a cinched waist, I am going to use 1.5 inch for the dart intake. So I divided 1.5 into 2 and took it on both sides. So I'm going to be cinching my waist with 1/2 inch. This is what I usually do for most of my tops. I'm going to be cinching my waist with 1/2 inch. So I did 1.5 on both sides. I did 0.75 on both sides, making it a total of 1.5. I hope you understand what I mean. So after that, I'll go ahead to mark my back before I'll come back and do all the tightening I'm supposed to do. So I'm just doing the same thing, marking my shoulder measurement divided by 2 and putting down my armhole length and marking out my armhole line. Now connect it like so. I'll go ahead and mark my neck width and my neck depth. My neck width is 3 and then my neck depth is 1. So I connected it for the back. This is standard for the back. So I connected the shoulder point and I went ahead to mark my armhole. I marked out 1 inch at the L shape line And then I divided my armhole length by 2, and I'm connecting the lines like this with my armhole curve. After that, I use my straight ruler to connect it to the shoulder point like this. So I'll go ahead and impute my bust measurement divided by 4, my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for that, and my hip measurement divided by 4. Then I'll go ahead and connect the lines. So at the waist measurement, I will come in by 3.5, just as I did to the front, to take my dart line, 3.5, which is my nipple to nipple divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches, divided by 2 give me 3.5. So I just did that, and then I connected my dart leg same way I did with the front. So I'm done with the back for now. I'll come back to the back again. So I came back to the front to take my side dart. I use 1.5 inch for my difference between my half length at the front and my half length at the back is 1.5. So that is why I marked my 1.5 inch as that. So I'll go ahead and divide my shoulder measurement into 2, and I mark the midpoint, and I'll just connect the straight line because we'll be needing a shoulder dart for this illustration. After that, I measured what I had from my apex to my underbust and just took it upwards and marked it. I had 3.5, so I just took it upward 3.5 to mark out that line there. That will serve as a guide for me to know where to put in my cup part. So at that point, I tightened my overbust with 1/2 inch on both sides. I tightened my overbust with 1/2 inch on both sides, connected it back to the apex line. I came down by 1 inch on the overbust line, and then I'm using my curved ruler to connect it there. This will serve as a guide for me to draw the style line of the cup, inner cup. So on my shoulder line, I just went up from the overbust by 1.5, and I came in by 0.75, just like this. So I'm trying to get the overbust style line, and I connected it back to the armhole, and I'm going to try and just do the scallop effect we have on the neckline like this. Just keep watching and just trace out that scallop neckline on the cup, on the inner cup. So I just extended my dart to the curved line, which is now my new neckline. So on the underbust, I'll come down by 1 inch, but before then, let me just mark out my sewing allowance, and I added 1 inch for sewing allowance, just 1 inch. There's no need to have too much sewing allowance on this type of dress. So I'll go ahead to mark out the underbust corset, the underbust corset. So I'm using a different marker pen so that I can be able to see the difference between the cup and the underbust corset. But this corset is coming 1 inch above the apex line, 1 inch. I initially marked 1.5, but I saw that it was going to be too high, so I came back and I marked 1 inch above the apex line. So I think I prefer that 1 inch above the apex line, and I just marked a straight line there. So that's where I'm going to use for the underbust corsets. on the armhole part, I'm going to come up by 1/2 inch so that it will not expose my armpits at that area. So I just came up by 1/2 inch and I connected the lines back like so. So that's basically it for the overbust. For the underbust corset, it's just going to be all the way down from that green marker point all the way down. So I had to mark my top of my blouse, and the top of the blouse I'm using is going to be 22 inches, so I'm marking it out there, 22 inches, so that I can be able to draw the style line for the lower part of the dress, of the top, sorry. So I went ahead to mark out my 22 inches before drawing the style line. So I went up by 1 inch. I went up by 1 inch. Sorry, I went up by 1 inch, yes. And I used my curved ruler to just connect it to that leg. So I used my marker pen to just trace the scallop effect on the lower part of the top, like so. So you can just use your free hand to do whatever you want at the lower part of the top. So that is basically it for the underbust corset. Now I'm using my red marker pen to trace the cup at the top, so that I will know where to trace out from, because I'm going to trace out this cup part out from the drafts. So I came down from the underbust. I came down 1/2 inch from the underbust. I just like to do that, I don't know. I came down 1/2 inch from the underbust and marked it there. So from that line all the way to the top is where I'm going to be tracing out for the inner cup. So that's going to be the inner cup. I'm going to trace out that line and then cut it out before I'll be able to cut out my underbust corset. So that's just me marking out the lines out, so I'll know where I'm going to cut out from when I'm cutting out. So that's basically it for the front. I'm going to mark out the back now, but I want to measure the length from the waistline of the front, and I'll just use that measurement to mark out from the waistline of the back to the hem of the top. So that will serve as my marking for the full length of the top for the back. So I went up at the back by 2 inches. Depending on how high you want the top to be, you can just make it whatever you want. So I did 2 inches and I marked it out like so, and I extended the nipple to nipple line, which is the dot line, upwards, and then I tightened the back with 0.25. I tightened it with 0.25 like that. I went up at armhole points by 1/2 inch so that it will match with what I did in the front, and I connected it there. I'll go ahead and mark my sewing allowance of 1 inch by the side. The back doesn't need too much. There's no too much drawings at the back, so I'll just connect the lines for my sewing allowance 1 inch all the way. I marked it like that. So at the top I'm going to take out 2 inches for my back lacing. I took out 2 inches from the top and I took out 1 inch at the down because I want to have this V-shape effect. So that's where I'm going to put my eyelets, like this. So that's where I'll put my eyelets. So I'm going to do the same thing I did for the down of the front. Go up by 1 inch at the hemline and connect my scallop. You can decide to do whatever you want to do at the back. I didn't see the back of the dress, but I just wanted to do this scallop effect too at the back. So that's basically it for the back. We're done with the back. I'm just going to go ahead and trace out this cup part, trace out all the lines, all the dots, trace them out. So this is it. After tracing it out, I will close up the overbust dart and redraw that scallop neckline again, so that we can have a smooth curve there. Yes, I'm redrawing the scallop neckline again. Close the dart and redraw the scallop neckline just like that before I'll go ahead and cut it out. Just watch the process of cutting. I'm cutting out just the cup parts that I traced out from the main pattern. I have not cut out the main pattern, so I'm cutting out the cup I traced out from the main pattern. So just watch the way I cut them out. I close the side dart as well, so it will be easier for me to cut like this. So just go ahead and cut all your lines and remove all your darts, remove all your straight darts, close your bust darts. Go ahead and cut out all my straight darts like this. Then I'll fold my side dart and use my sellotape to hold it down. Use my sellotape to hold down that side dart like this. So that's that for the cup. And then I'll just trim out the sharp points, because we don't need sharp points in any of this. The sharp points are the apex points there, so I just trimmed it off. So that's basically it for the cup. I'll go ahead and cut out the underbust corset. Trim it out from the hem of the dress. Please watch carefully to see how I'm going to cut out everything from here. This. So that's it. I'll remove all my darts, take out all the darts, cut them off, trim them out like this, and then I'll fold my side darts the same way I did to the cup. I'll fold my side dart and use my sellotape to hold it down. Then go ahead and trim out the sharp points at that place. So I'm trimming out the sharp point. I'll use my sellotape to hold this dart down like this here. So that's that for the cup. For the underbust corset. I don't know why I keep calling this overbust corset. Maybe because it just came up at least 1 inch a bit from the apex points, maybe. So I'm cutting the back now. Going ahead to cut out the back, taking out all the darts as well. I stopped cutting because I didn't want my back to be in pieces, so I'm going to just fold in that back dart. Use my tape to sellotape it down. I didn't want my back to be in pieces. I wanted it to be just one pieces. So I'll just fold it down and use my sellotape to hold it all the way. So that's basically it for the back. That's basically. So this is all for the drafts. I just went ahead to sellotape them together to see whether it's giving me what I want, and I'm loving how it came out. So this is it. This is what it's going to be like when we're done sewing. So I just use my tape to hold it down. Then it's looking all beautiful, and that's the back. If you want us to do a tutorial on the sewing part, please comment so on the comment section. If I have a reasonable number of comments, I'll go ahead and show us a tutorial on how to sew it. If this tutorial was helpful, please like, share, comment, and please subscribe. Thank you. See you in my next video. Bye.